Hey everyone, welcome to another look at Warcraft 3 Reforged and the new models that have been created. Today we're going to look at some of the scenery and objects that are used to decorate maps, also called Doodads. I wasn't actually planning on doing a video about these, but when I started looking at them I realized they really need some attention. They are amazing. So let me just fix the music there really quick. Okay, so if you look at, like, these are just, well, actually, I think I made this map like a couple weeks ago, and so hopefully I can catch everything, but I'm pretty sure this was just kind of me messing around. So let's go just kind of and weave around and look. So this is a wall fountain. I gotta say the water looks incredible. They've really upped their water game. The water elementals are the only things I think look a little weird, but this works pretty well. I think that looks really good. Here are a couple banners. I'm not sure like how much I'll actually have to say about each one, but I definitely want you guys to have a look at them because they're just amazing. Here's one thing that some people might be disappointed with. This is the Tracy's Armory sign, and it doesn't say Tracy's Armory, it just says, you know, it's just an armor store or whatever. And same with Bob's Guns, it just shows some guns and doesn't say Bob's Guns, which is an homage to StarCraft. So I thought that was a little, I don't know. On the one hand, it'll make them easier to put into serious maps. On the other hand, you know, kind of sacrifice a little bit of classic Warcraft 3 Doodads for that. Here's a couple benches. Overall, the textures are just amazing. Like if you look close at the, you know, stone textures, the wood textures, that sort of thing. It's just really good. Some of the doodads have changed a little bit. This is a brazier, and this is a glowing brazier. So I thought that was weird. Useful, but weird. Before, in order to have like a brazier that wasn't glowing, you had to use like triggers or whatever. So I think it's kind of cool that they have both. On the other hand, they didn't do the same thing with torches, which I'll show you later. So I thought that was a little weird. The bones on the game look so much more realistic. They're like browned and everything instead of like the white bleached, you know, stereotypical skulls or whatever. The texture itself makes them look really good. So that's a skull pile. Here's a king's throne. Everything from like the fur seat to the, you know, just the banners, everything just looks really good. So I can't be impressed enough with how good these are. Here's another weird thing with the naming of the doodads. This is a statue, which looks like a really good representation of the original, and this is a statue shieldless. There's clearly a shield. The only difference I see is this one has water in its base and this one does not. So I thought that was a little weird. I'm not sure why they did that. I don't know. Maybe they're not done. I personally hope that they'll go through and rename the doodads that they've changed and stuff. Here's a new doodad. This is called a white statue, which is kind of funny. It's not white anymore. It used to be a killer whale statue, which I thought was really weird. Now it's a lion, which is great. So I think that's definitely an improvement. It makes me want to use it more in maps and everything. Here's a fire pit. Thought that looked really good. The only thing I didn't really like about it, but it's fixable, is that it before I feel like they textured the bottom a little bit so that you couldn't make it on grass like that, but you know, you put it on terrain like that and it looks fine. And then here is the fire pit trashed, which before it just looked like it was kind of kicked over. This one looks like it was put out very recently, which is kind of interesting. You know, you got the glowing coals and everything. There's no way to make it stop smoldering or anything, so that was interesting, but oh well. Here's a fire pit with a pig. Look at that roast pig. It looks delicious. It's hilarious that they focus so much on the textures. I mean, that pig flesh is like, it just looks like something that was charred and cooked like perfection, so that was pretty funny. It's not flaming though, which I thought was interesting. Here's a skull brazier. It's not flaming either, and the original skull brazier in Warcraft 3 has like green flames, so I hope they bring that back. That was something that was a really good decor for like Outland and whatnot. Here's some sewer pipes. Again, perfect metal textures and everything. This is an empty crate, which I think looks much better, mainly because the old empty crate in Warcraft 3 was just a normal crate texture, but you couldn't open them, I think. And so this one actually looks like a box that's empty, which could be used for some stuff. You could even like blow this up in terms of scale and you know, put something in it or something. I don't know. Here's a cauldron with heads. Definitely really creepy. A pretty good representation of the original, and kind of got a cool glow from underneath. Oh, there's actually some fire and embers and stuff. Didn't notice that. Alright, moving on. We got some gravestones. Not much to say here, except this is a head on a spear. And there's like a raven on it that's eating it, which is kind of funny. He just sits there the whole time. And that's just one variation. Like, there's other variations too, but that variation's got a crow on it, which I thought was really cool. Kind of reminds me of some of the doodads on Heroes of the Storm. You know, off to the side they have just little creatures that are kind of part of it. This is the Eye of Sargeras. It doesn't look any different, so they must not be done with it yet. Yeah, Peasant Grave, those other ones. Here's a fountain. Again, I like the way the water looks. Unfortunately, they don't have the like water going out the top, which means you can't. I don't know. I liked how that you can make on the Rexar campaign. There was like some geysers coming out of the ground, and it was because it was a fountain that was blown up and then squeaked under the ground, you know, like this or whatever. But you can't do that anymore. Oh, that actually looks kind of cool. Anyway, you could put that in some water or something and have the water going out. Anyway, so a couple changes will modify the way that you can, the ways that you can use doodads and everything. Here's a new doodad. I wish there was a button to just maximize or minimize the scale. Maybe I should suggest that on the forums or something. But here's a high elf crest. This is proof that Silvermoon is going to get a huge makeover in the campaign. It's going to look awesome. Here's another standing high elf banner of Quel'Thalas. That's like their color before they became blood elves, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so here's the glowing torch and the not glowing torch. Can't really tell if they're actually shedding light like they do on the original Warcraft 3, but I don't know. Here's a trough. Oh, we're gonna see a few more gates later. Oh, this one's not a destructible one. Okay, so yeah. Some good looking things for dungeons and everything. Here's a bunch of like totems and lampposts and stuff. Here's a totem lantern, a Tauren totem. I'm guessing these are like night elf ones. They kind of look like it. Can't remember though. Here's a centaur totem, an altar, some scorched remains and bones. Overall, I just think the bones look really good. Here's a flame grate. I just love the flame, the way that looks. Like the change in the particle effects makes those look so much better. I love them. Oh, there's a killer whale with horns on it. Not sure why it has horns on it. I guess maybe to just give it more of a fantasy vibe. Okay, we got a pile of junk, which I think is pretty neat because it looks more like junk. It's like a barrel missing some boards, some cracked pots, some, you know, beaten swords and everything. And then this is trash, which is slightly different. Where's the pile of treasure? And maybe we'll find it later, but I think I put one up here too. Yeah, here's a pile of treasure. See, it looks like some decent weapons, some coins, goblets, and you know, just things that you'd hope to find in a dungeon or whatever. Here's another one with like some silks and like an actual treasure chest with some bottles in it and everything. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. We might run into that again later, but just in case. Oh, here is a statue of King Tyrannus, which is a new doodad, and I know exactly where it's going to go. In the town of Stratholme, during the culling mission, there is a moment where if Arthas approached in the original Warcraft 3 an obelisk, he would say, "Father, forgive me for what I must do." And apparently they're going to replace that with an actual statue of King Tyrannus, which is sweet. Here's a statue of Ajun, the guardian in the Stone Talon Mountains dungeon. Oh, thank you, autosave. I thought that it had like an animation of when you put the gemstone in, but maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of something else, actually. The Enchanted Gemstone Obelisk, which we'll probably find, maybe. Or unless it was a unit. Here's a statue of Scenarious, which is pretty awesome. I just love the way this looks. I mean, with the vines growing around it, it's just a really good representation. This is clearly Scenarious because of his moose antlers as opposed to just normal stag antlers, but it looks really good. Here's some more statues of like a Black Citadel Dark Portal look. Now we're going into some dungeon stuff. Here's an Iron Maiden. Oh, here's Bobo the Wonder Orc, just for like comparison of size. Here is an Iron Maiden. Some bookshelves that look really, really good. This just makes me want to make a dungeon, honestly, because these just look so much better. Here's some dungeon spikes. Oh, we'll get to some trees later, but that's one thing. Oh yeah, I put Bobo here because of the chair, so yeah. I think you can make it bigger, though. Yeah, that's the smallest size. Oh yeah, I think I did that because, yeah, that's ridiculous. It's like a high chair for him. Yeah, so maybe you could make a dungeon for giants or something. Here's a dungeon table with some maps on it. I love the detail that can be put into these because the textures can be so much more higher resolution. Here's a torture table, which I don't remember those being on Warcraft 3, and if they were, they weren't that distinct, so that looks really good. Here's a crate of gold, which looks really good. Looks like actual nuggets of gold, which I like. Okay, now we're getting into some cool stuff with these cinematic doodads. This fire here. Yeah, look at that fire. Like that's an actual doodad that can be... Okay, they need to make like... Oh, never mind, there's a box. Okay. Yeah, so this fire just looks really good. You can put that anywhere, and it just looks so much more realistic than the other one. Just looks amazing, so I can't wait to be able to use that on my maps. Some scorched remains and everything. Oh, there's the treasure. Oh, never mind. That was me experimenting with changing the skin. You can change skins on doodads now to keep the same like pathing and abilities, but change what they look like, which kind of cool. Here's some levers. I'm not sure. Yeah, I changed it to 0 just to see if it would like... That's odd. Fixed Z. I wonder if that was interesting. But yeah, I can't get it to see what it looks like when it's flipped or not, so maybe that's not done. It looks like a couple of the dungeon implements and stuff aren't created yet, so I wouldn't be surprised. Here's a force wall, which looks really neat. I think that's a good homage to what the original Warcraft 3 doodads looked like. It just looks updated, which is good. Here's some other stuff. Here's an igloo, which is destructible now. Before, I don't think it was, but now it's got a death animation, which is kind of fun. A resurrection stone that Rexar uses in the campaign. It's interesting that it's a desert stone. I thought I saw one that wasn't, but I mean, I guess a lot of it does take place in the Barrens, so okay, cool. And it's glowing and everything, which I always like. It's kind of like the, I don't know if you've played Titan Quest, but there's these like resurrection wells that get activated when you get near them, and it's kind of the same thing. Here are some Orgrimmar Doodads, which are awesome. Before, they just had to use normal orc watchtowers and sort of disguise them as doodads. Like, they just used the doodad models so they could blow them up and everything, but these are actual Orgrimmar towers, which are amazing. Oh, this one's under construction with the scaffolding, and then this one's complete with like the metal and stone reinforcements. So that's awesome. So far, I haven't really liked these crystals yet because they're not glowing like they are in Warcraft 3. But maybe they'll add that later. Overall, it looks fine, but yeah, I hope that they make those work well. Here's a ship. I think we already looked at that in the Creeps video. Oh, it's got a pretty cool death animation, though. Let me turn on the gem and see what it... Never mind. Well, we'll get the idea. Here's an ice crown throne. I think this is found in the spider caverns or whatever. Got some cool icy rock. This one's actually destructible as well, which I'm not sure about. Like, Can't remember. Oh, I remember. Those were like when the earthquakes happened, and these would like the earthquake would destroy these. Yeah. Okay. Here's some city buildings. They look really good. It looks like straight out of World of Warcraft, honestly. I couldn't be happier with the way they look. They look great. The destroyed ones are interesting because they're kind of glowing with embers, which on the one hand is cool, but on the other hand it means you can't really make a ruined city that's been there for a long time, you know? Because it just looks like it was recently burned. But, you know. This is awesome. This is a Stronbrad large tree. So apparently Stronbrad is going to have a sweet giant tree in the middle of town. Kind of unique to that town, and I love this. Like, this could be used for, you know, to really add some awesome accents to a town. I noticed that there's like only one city building with purple tiles. They've got like blue and green and red and stuff, but no purple ones. And they've got elven buildings with purple on them, but you'll see a little bit later that they have like unique Dalaran buildings with really cool looks. So it's got more of like a, anyway, you'll see that a little bit later. Here's a granary, windmill. All satisfied there. The well finally has water in it. I feel like before it didn't. Not sure why it has birth animations and stuff. Here's an inn. Looks really good. Kind of like a neutral thatched roof cottage style. This is a tavern, which is really small. Huh, yeah, really small. And it doesn't look like anything like the old tavern, but oh well. Okay, now we're getting into some cool things. Bell towers. I think it's about time they've had some clock towers in the game, because they look really good. This is kind of interesting. They have different ones. This one's a Stronbrad clock tower. This one's Androhall. That's a misspelling there, but yeah, Anderhall clock tower. I thought they had more, but maybe not. Not gonna. Oh yeah, I forgot about these cathedrals right here. Awesome, massive, really well textured, and could add a lot to a town, which is really cool. Love the cathedral. And oh, I guess I missed these. I can't tell if this is done or not. It looks slightly different, but these seem like they should be updated, and I haven't really seen these sort of, I don't know what those are called. Like they look like Spirit Tower projectiles, but yeah, I haven't seen those on any other doodads. But I mean, it looks a little different, so I don't know. I kind of don't think it's ready yet, though. I think they'll probably improve it. It makes sense. It's a little bit in the future. And then I guess I didn't look at this barn, but yeah, pretty. Yeah, not much to say about this. Let's kind of loop around here. I'm not too much to say about these nature doodads, other than I really like them. You got oh, these are a new doodad. Okay, Stronbrad large tree. You're awesome, but back off, please. Okay, yeah, these are tulips, which are different. I mean, before they just had flowers that are, you know, that's all they were called, as flowers, but these are tulips, which is kind of cool. And yeah, just everything just looks really good in terms of nature. It's going to be really easy to just kind of pepper your maps with really cool looking doodads. The corn actually has visible corn ears now. I got some interesting fissures and craters. Again, I'll talk about trees later. Here's some wheat. These are disgusting mushrooms. I think they're from Fellwood. So yeah, they just look rotten and corrupted, which is pretty cool. These look like they're from Ashenvale. And then these are blue mushrooms from Underground tile set. So they kind of look different, and they're actually like glowing, which is cool. Yeah. The rocks look great. The webbed rocks, everything just looks great. Everything just looks so much more polished for a newer game. Got some fiery craters from different tile sets. Some outland plants that look really cool too. Magma rock, rock spires. Oh, here's a floating rock from Outland. I thought it was interesting that it's like a lava rock, you know? Like it actually looks, I don't know. I guess that makes, I guess I kind of wondered what the Outland rock was. Like, it was kind of like Mars, you know, just like red soil or what. But maybe they're kind of making it more like a hellish landscape. I don't know. I haven't looked at too many tile sets on here. Maybe I should, but I haven't yet. Here's some water doodads. Overall, the water looks great. Oh yeah, there's the whale. Here's some fish that look really good. I mean, you're not even going to ever see these up close, but if you do, they look amazing. That allows you to blow them up bigger, you know. I don't know if you make an underwater map where you're like tiny or something and they're giant fish, but got room to blow them up for you. That's pretty neat. Okay, let's look over here. Yeah, just some ice flow, floating crates. Everything's got a texture update at the very least. Here's some hay. This is normal hay and infected hay. Not a huge difference, honestly. Like, this just looks like it's kind of left out to rot a little bit, but yeah, yeah, it doesn't look that different, so I thought I could use a little bit more stark contrast, but I guess we'll see. Post lantern. This fly tile set is interesting. The flies are kind of jumping around a little bit more differently as opposed to, like, I don't know. I guess it looks pretty good. Hello, whale. And I can't really see them close enough to tell what they look like, but, you know. Looks good. We already looked at those, Oh, an archery target. Looks pretty good. And this is some giant bones, I'm guessing from the Barrens. Okay, this is getting annoying. Go away. And then we got a human banner. Oh, this is a tutorial banner. So this is a banner with a torch on top, and this is what will be used for, I guess, the tutorial when the narrator is teaching you to, like, move to different places with Thrall or whatever. And this is a Orc Banner. I'm not sure why it's black. Yeah, I think that might be a glitch and it doesn't have its texture yet. But basically looks like that. Here's a snowman, and they straight up took the snowman from World of Warcraft, which is pretty funny. Not sure if I call that lazy or clever, but it's pretty good. I'm sure WoW players who play Warcraft 3 for the first time will enjoy that. Lots of pillars, lots of, like, you know, ice spiders for the Nerubian Kingdom. Even the sign looks nice. Like, it just kind of sticks out more. Before, the sign was really tiny and just hard to notice or anything, but yeah, the sign looks really nice, I think. I've always wanted to make a map where if you mouse over the sign, like, some text pops up above it or something. That would be kind of fun. More pillars, more braziers. Here's some cinematic effects, which I thought were really cool. Look at that lightning bolt. That looks amazing. I've never understood why you would want to use this lightning bolt as an actual cinematic thing, because it just sits there and strikes over and over again. But that means, if I'm not mistaken, that the special effect of the lightning bolt for the like spells, like the monsoon spell, will hopefully be exactly the same, because I really like that. Here's a side fire trap. It just continually blasts, which I think is good too, because in the original there was a pause in between, and that was kind of weak, because you had to, if you wanted to make an actual trap that this did damage with, you had to time it based on the doodad's animation. But now it's just constantly blasting, so you can turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, and, you know, turn the damage on or whatever and turn it off. So that's just common sense. That was really good. The smoke smudge hasn't seemed to change at all, but I don't see why it really should. It's kind of simple, and yeah, you're not really going to need much out of that. This is a fire trap, and it's the same thing where before it was like this. But yeah, kind of messed up. Anyway, you get the idea. You can turn it on and off, and it just makes it a lot easier to time. Okay, let's look at some trees. We got some new trees here, guys. This is a Silvermoon tree, which looks amazing. You got the sort of autumn look to it, that sort of thing. The grayish bark, the curly, whimsical, like fairy, you know, elf look to it. Like, it just fits Silvermoon so much better than the Lordaeron trees did, which are over here. Actually, these are cityscape trees, but I'm not sure if there's a difference. Anyway, They also have Scorch Trees, which, I mean, you could kind of use the Northern trees for these in the past, but now these are on pretty much all tile sets, I think. Well, all the ones that would... Oh, okay, they're only on the Cityscape tile sets, but, you know, makes it pretty easy if you wanted to make some trees that were burned down for whatever reason. Cityscape Fall Trees, Cityscape Snowy Trees... These all just look really good. These, I've talked about these before, I think, but these are the Ashenvale Trees, and they look amazing. I'm so glad that they have that characteristic purple leaves and everything. That'll make Ashenvale look so different on the campaigns, which will look amazing. Like, think about, you know, on the episode where Grom is cutting down the trees, like, these are the trees that he'll be cutting down, and it'll just make it look so much more like he's in Ashenvale. Here's some dungeon and underground trees. Kind of interesting. Oh, Black Citadel. I'm pretty sure that's the same as... Oh, no, never mind. Yeah, the red mushrooms are for dungeon, and then these are going to be on Outland. So I thought those looked really good. Those are what you'll be cutting down trees and making your buildings out of. Here's some Sunken Ruins trees, both canopy and normal. Definitely just look like a beach. These are Barrens trees, which are very different, I thought. Like, look at all those leaves. Like, they're, like... lush for being, you know, in the middle of a desert. It's kind of, let's look at a few more and see how they look. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Before they kind of looked sort of missing leaves, that sort of thing, kind of parched trees, but now they're full of trees, and this could, I mean, you could make, these could look good in on a normal grassy tile set like this for sort of a fall setting, or I don't know. Kind of cool how they give a lot of different looks to them. These are Fellwood trees, which is kind of cool because they give you the option of, I mean, and before I don't think there was a difference between Ashenvale and Fellwood trees, but now you got the big full leafy trees that are green and then the ones that are purple. These don't necessarily look like dead or corrupted, but they kind of do in comparison to the vibrant Ashenvale tree. So the contrast will be good in the campaign, and if you just want really leafy trees as opposed to, you know, these coniferous needle trees, Fellwood trees will do just fine. So I love how they give that option. And then here are some ice crown trees. Kind of funny that they have leaves on them, but it's in the winter. I guess they're just really resilient trees for whatever reason. And those are trees, and these are Northern trees, which are covered with snow. I don't understand how something that far north could have leaves at all, but who cares? It looks great, and like I said, like if you wanted a Lordaeron winter map, you could have a really good looking one with leaves. Like these are basically just a snowy form of the Fellwood ones. I want to just look real quick at the Lordaeron winter trees, because I don't think I... Okay, they seem to be the same as Cityscape trees, which I'm a little disappointed at. Before, Cityscape had their own tree wall, and theirs were like taller, almost as if they had been like pruned and, you know, set up for space, and then the Lordaeron trees were bigger like this, like they had kind of been grown wild, so that'll be a little bit different, but... okay, yeah, let's just move on over here to some sweet high elf things. I'm pretty sure these are, yeah, these are Silvermoon, and I personally cannot wait to see how these look, just how they've created the town of Silvermoon on the campaign, because it's just going to look amazing with these incredible looking buildings, the banners, these trees along with it and everything. That's going to be like its own tile set almost, which is going to be really cool. This is an archway? Yeah, so this is a Silvermoon archway. This is another one. Oh, this is the exterior gate. So this is an actual gate to Silvermoon. Man, I can't wait. And for those of you who don't know, Warcraft 3 Reforged will come out at the end of January. So yeah, basically a month and a half from when this video was made. And I personally cannot wait to see the campaign, so that's what I'm most excited about. Bridges are one thing that's interesting. This is an elven bridge, just a night elf wooden bridge, which is kind of cool how they have different styles. Short stone bridge. Strathholm Bridge. It has its own bridge, which is pretty neat. It makes sense with the culling that they would have kind of a different set of architecture if it was a big town like that. This is a short wooden bridge. And an earth bridge. I guess I probably should have put these with like water under it or something because it kind of looks weird on its own, but you get the idea of what they look like. This is kind of interesting here. I can't remember if this is Dalaran? I think it's Dalaran, but Orgrimmar has it too. Did I? Huh. Okay, well, whatever it is, they have actual walls now with like a T intersection and the actual sides of the walls and corners and towers and turrets and stuff. There wasn't enough room to show all of that, but basically you can make really good looking walls. Like, that's huge. Before they had like the low short walls, which are kind of a waste of space, I think, but these look great to me. And then we got some archways. This one, this looks like Ashenvale. I'm not sure if it is, but probably is. What else we got? Okay, here's some Dalaran buildings. A lot of Dalaran buildings. This just looks incredible. Dalaran is going to look completely different, you guys. Like, that map is going to look amazing. This is, I mean, they even have names that kind of hint to what they're going to be made as, but who knows? I mean, this is Enclave main structure, Enclave houses, Magus Conservatory, Magus turret. They've got just different spires, high rises. I mean, oh, it just looks amazing. Like, this is going to look so much different. Like, before they kind of had to rely on the terrain to make it give that Dalaran purple look, but now they've got all these buildings. I just love that right there. These buildings all just look amazing. They have that sort of Byzantine architecture look to them, or like Arabian or whatever it is, and it just really fits with World of Warcraft, which I super highly approve of. Looks really good. Here's a city tower. Kind of looks like the other clock towers, but a lot smaller. Yeah, kind of interesting. You got some archway entrances, which look great with the towers. Yeah, here's another archway with just uncovered towers and everything. Here's another building. This is the Alonzas Chapel, which I thought was interesting. I'm not sure, like, I think there was a chapel named after Alonzas Foal of Warcraft 1 with his clerics and stuff, but I thought it was in Northshire? I could be wrong about that, but this will be used in one of the campaigns for sure, hence its like unique name and unique status among the other doodads. Here's some more archways. You got this angled archway of stone and the icy claw archway of ice crown. Here's a rock one. Overall, they just look all really good. I thought I put the gates somewhere on here. Maybe I didn't have room. Oh, here's some. This is a dungeon gate. And this is a demonic gate. I thought this was weird, and you'll know why if you've played the campaign. I've always wondered why it was called a demon gate, and it was mainly, I mean, in the campaign it's created by Malfurion to block out Archimonde, and so it's only called a demon gate to keep demons out, but it had like a panther on the front, you know, that kind of thing. So I don't know if this was like a error in translation for who Blizzard outsourced them to or what, but I mean, it's nice to have a demon gate, but at the same time it doesn't seem like we have a night elf gate anymore, so it was kind of weird. Here's a... We already have those. Here's an Elven Gate, just sort of a normal gate. Doesn't look like I've done the Iron Gate either. Okay, yeah, looks pretty good. Got a nice portcullis there and everything. So the gates overall just look really good too. Ooh, that looks nice. I like the animation when the gate was broken down. Except I don't like how it disappears. Huh, that's weird. Yeah, it can open, obviously. But yeah, before it was just kind of cool to have it broken down and have the pieces here, but I guess they thought it was important for it to just, like, disintegrate completely. I don't know. Let me just check real quick. Is there a Night Elf Gate anywhere? Doesn't look like it. Anyway, seems like there should be more doodads, and maybe there are, but for now, we'll call it good. If there are any doodads, or if there are any doodads that I missed, or oh yeah, here's a dock and some, you know, broken columns and stuff. There's probably a few little things that I missed, but if there's anything big that I missed that you want to see, let me know in the comments below. Also, I mean, I've looked at all the units, I've looked at all the buildings and stuff like that of note, but if there's anything else you'd want me to look at in Reforged, let me know. I'd be happy to look at them. So far, though, I mean, that's all that I've seen that's been changed visually. I think later on, we'll have to, you know, just see what the maps have that are different and everything like that. So, but anyway, super excited to have these differences with the doodads and models and everything, and yeah, I just think everything's great. Looking forward to Reforged. Oh, that's weird. That's a overgrowth bridge, and it seems to be broken. So, again, everything's not perfect and polished, but it will be in a month and a half, hopefully. The birds look good, by the way. And yeah, when that happens, there'll be a lot more cool things to look at, and I'm just excited to see how they arrange these things, and with more time on their hands than they had back in the day when normal Warcraft 3 was being made. It's gonna be awesome.
9 battle cruisers.
Power overwhelming.
6 zealots fighting.